right, we're live. No, not really, but as close as we can be. All right, today I have Nike, NKE ticker on the New York Stock Exchange, 10-year candles, 1 year, 10-year charts worth of monthly candles. And just decided to go and take a look here. I'd like to give myself some black space to give me some thinking room. Sometimes you draw lines, you imagine what the pattern could be forming out, and sometimes go draw multiple lines just to make sure you could get different angles, because it's always like from a low to another low. And then there's multiple lows here, so somebody could decide to draw different lines, which could still be valid, but for a shorter term period. But if I go from low here, this trend is visibly in an upwards channel. And right now there was a consolidation period right now at the $50. Here you go. For the past 2 years and a half, and oh, look at that, there was some support, some resistance right here. This could have been a pattern, and right here, here's another important level right here that was broken out of. So we have multiple things happening here. The first, we had a breakout, 1, 2, 3 candles before. What is that? That's the November candle. And if I measure from top to bottom of formation, add it on to the breakout line, here's the entry. Enter here at this price at 60.30. Put your stop loss 54, and your profit limit at the implied measure move at the top of the arrow. And that's it. If right now this was a nice pattern, but the risk to reward wasn't that great. It seems to be 1-1. So it could have passed on that and wait maybe for a bigger move or a different risk to reward skewed in our favor. Let's see if there was divergence at that moment. Bottom to bottom, no. Higher high, higher lows. And what happened at the breakout? Here's the candle. And no bearish divergence. So see, our side, we had no counter indication that this was that there was a bearish divergence, and the price rapidly got its target 1-2 months later. And right now we seem to be around the breakout line again, or previous high. We'll see what the month ends, but if I believe today was the last candle. So right now what I probably see is takeoff pattern that is closer to the actual date we are today. The more validity you give to the pattern. Right now this is resistance that's a little far back. I would have liked maybe to have more tests here before going up on the monthly candle chart. Maybe we go on the weekly, there's more candles, and this did maybe a little bit more often than what the candles show. Is this an eventual move? Right now, just imagining if that was a pattern, then the target, where would that be a few months later? And just imagine going through that motion. I don't think... is it this one? I see there's might be bearish divergence heading into for this candle. So that might be from top to top. Here, bring this over now. From top to top, and you see the price action going higher, but the RSI going lower. Maybe this is going to fade this move, and we're going to have another test back here at this resistance or support. Maybe a couple more bounces. I don't know. Right now, I wouldn't go in. I don't give much validity to this breakout of this formation here. I think this was a true formation that broke out, that reached its target, and now I think we have to wait for some consolidation here before we go out through that 60. Oh, that was crooked. Around the 67 level. And that's about it. But you see, there could be some bullish upside, but maybe now just the price action has to consolidate a little bit more before going that next leg up. There's always two possible directions, and you got to try to envision both scenarios. Right now, it's the price action just seems to be no man's land in between that possible rising channel. There's not a lot of another test here would have been needed to confirm that trend line. So we could probably maybe remove that, but also sometimes putting it and you can imagine a point further that there could be some resistance there. Keep it all in mind, and but the price action is the ultimate tell, and that candles on the breakout line, that's the ultimate tell. And right before we close, I will go on the 5-year weekly candle chart. And I just want to see if here, this was probably the breakout that you would have played on the weekly. It's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks consolidation, and here's a breakout candle. And right now you see that you're at that resistance line here. So even on the weekly, you get to see that. You see more of that detail, and on the daily, well, even more detail. Lots of detail. You see, we don't have the 1 year, but you see here that it's consolidating. So I guess we have to wait. Might not. I don't think it's this candle that's going to tell us that there's a breakout. We'll have to wait for the February candle. All right, Nike. See ya maybe in a month. Ciao.